You have clicked on green side F2L. So what we're going to be doing here is creating the first two layers on the green side, because that's what F2L stands for, is first two layers. So here's the green side, and these are the first two layers. So what we're going to concentrate on showing first is how to put in these edge pieces, and then after that these corner pieces. These edge pieces that we're going to be putting in are by far the hardest part about solving this puzzle. There's a lot to know about doing it, and there's quite a few problems you can run into, but we are going to go through those. So the first thing that you want to know is that you should never have two white arrows in these positions that we're trying to fill. You can have one, but I'll explain that a little bit further as we go into it. So basically what we're trying to accomplish by doing this is we're isolating the different kinds of colored arrows onto sides, so every side can be moved without being restricted. And because I know that there's an equal amount of white arrows and an equal amount of black arrows on the cube, and that there are 2 arrows per side, that means that there are 6 of the same colored arrows. And here we have isolated 4 by doing the bottom cross. And if we put in these green and black pieces, or sorry, green and black here, so as we look around the cube, you can see that it has a black cross or a black arrow on it, and a white and a green piece, which is right here, which also has a black arrow on it. That tells me that I'm going to have all 4 of these black arrows plus these 2, leaving the other sides having the white ones, which means that every side will be able to turn. And after we put these in, then it's very easy to solve the cube because we've put the arrows where they're supposed to be. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about these front arrows again. So like I said, you cannot have the front 2 pieces with 2 arrows that are the same color that are white. And the reason for that is because we're going to be putting one piece in. So if we had 2 that were here that were white and we put this piece in, we would have a black arrow in front and a white here, and we wouldn't be able to turn this side. And that's not good because we're going to have to put this other piece in, and in order to do that we'd have to turn this piece up. And we can't do that if we cannot turn this piece. So in a configuration like this is okay to have because we can still put a piece in, but we have to make sure that it's this piece. And the green and black goes on the right side, and the green and white goes on the left side. And the reason for that is because I'm trying to make the cube solvable, and if this yellow and green belongs here, then the green and white belongs on the left. So when I do a move that turns this to it, it's going to fix this as well. And if I put the black and green one here, that'll fix that as well. So what we're looking for is the black and green piece, and we need it to be here because doing that will take this piece out. If we put the green and white one in here, it's going to leave this one here and we'll be stuck, and we will not be able to solve it. We'll have to retake this one out and put this one back in. So this is okay. If you happen to have 2, you're going to have to find a way to take this one out. It's going to take some experimentation. There's no there's no actual algorithm that I can tell you to do that, because it'll change every time you solve the cube because these arrows will be in different spots. Another thing that you want to be aware of is how the top is set up. You never want to have 4 arrows on top that are white. And the reason for this is because we're trying to get the green pieces in here, and the green pieces we're looking for have black on them. So if you have 4 arrows on the white, that means that none of the pieces we're trying to work for are in the top layer, so we're not going to be really doing anything. Now, as you can see, there is one in this layer. This is the black and green piece. So I know that that belongs here. Now, ideally, what you want to have is 2 white ones. So if you're looking at it straight on, so it's in front of you, you want to have a white arrow on the left and a white arrow on the right, and nothing on top in the back. You can sometimes do it with the arrow in the back, and maybe we'll find a case where we can have that. You also want to try to have one of the pieces you're trying to put in here, in this case it's the green and black, in the top layer, but you don't want the black piece being on top. If it is, you're going to be stuck. As you can see, it wouldn't move. So you want it to be on the edge, and again, you're just going to have to move pieces around in order to find your way to do that. There are so many cases I could not possibly go through every one of them. So what you want to do is you don't want this to be in this face, so you want to move it out of this face. What you want is that piece belongs here, so you want to bring this piece up to the top just like this, and now you want to move this into that spot. As you can see, it's moved in, and now we can turn that So that's in. Now we want the white and green to be here. And I don't see it in the top. So let's take a look around. Here's the white and green. So we don't want to move it to be in the top this way because the green's on top and now we're stuck and we can't really do anything with it. What we want to do is move it that way. But you see that we can't because we are stuck with this piece. So what we do is we move this until there is no piece, and here we go. So now we can move this way, putting this in the top layer and exchanging it for this one by moving this back, because we have to move this back in order to maintain our cross position here. So now that this is in the top layer, we can move it to the side, and now we can bring this position up to here, and we can now move that green piece into position. So this is the hardest part, believe it or not. I know I made it look a little bit easy, but that's because I've done it about 50 times now, and it's not too hard once you understand how to use the pieces and how to move them around each other. So here we have this again. So I'm going to go ahead and re-scramble this and try to show you one more time how to do it. Okay, so here I've got a bit of another scramble, and I want to show you this case as well, where you can have two sometimes in the top layer as long as you're not blocked by any white pieces here. So as you can see, this is rotating freely because there's no white pieces or white arrows in these locations. So in this case, you can have two here. So what you want to do is put one on the right, and you know that the white one belongs here, so you can put it there. And now this one belongs down here, so you can rotate this. Oh, no, you see, you cannot do that because we are now stuck because we've put this one in there. So there's a problem you can run into. So what I'm going to do is just continue to rotate this, and I need this one to be out, so we cannot use that piece. Let's try this one. So I know that this white piece belongs here again, so I'm going to move it there. And now I can rotate this 180 degrees and put this one in. And now you can see that when I move it, they are now in correct position. So I'm going to try to show you one more case just to make sure that you know what you're doing. Alright, so here's another scramble, and I think this one might be a little bit more challenging than the others. As you can see, we have the green and the white pieces in the top layer. However, it's not quite where we want it to be. As you can see, it's black, so it's blocking the top layer. We want this to be flipped over, as you know. We don't want the black arrow on top. And we do have a white arrow in here which we have to take care of, but luckily for us, this piece here is the same one that needs to go there. So we can have one arrow here as long as the one we're trying to insert goes in here. So we're going to try to take a look around and see how we can manipulate the cube in order for us to be able to put that in there. So I can see that I can move this one freely. So I can put this here, but that's not really where it needs to go. So let's try to put this position here first by doing this, and now as you can see, we can put that in there. So that's how we want it to be. Now we can move this all over back the way it's supposed to be, and we can realign this piece, which is to go on the bottom. And now we've run into this again where we have one piece that is actually, I guess we can keep that in there because it's okay to have one piece as long as that's the next one we're putting in, which it is. So let's try to put this in here. We need this to be in the top layer, the green and black piece. So we don't want to move it up this way because now it's going to block. So we need to move it, this way into the layer. So let's move it into the layer this way and move it out of the way and realign this with the bottom. Now, you see, now we're stuck. Actually, I was wrong. We cannot have two of the same color here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this up. Okay. See, sometimes you got to think. Like, I've solved it a lot of times, and yet I am stumped sometimes too. So what I want to do is I want to be able to move this up, but I want to replace it with something that's not a white arrow on top, which is this piece here. So let's move this over, and now we can realign our cross piece here, and now we've taken this out. And we still have our piece here, which is correct. So now we can just move this location into the top layer, and we can move that into its position, and then realign all of these pieces. And so that is how we put in these pieces. And that is the hardest part about this puzzle, believe it or not. And I know I'm doing it a little bit fast, but that's because it's very easy once you understand how to do it. You're going to have to play around with it for a while. Trust me, you're not going to get it right away. So the next thing we want to do is put in these corner pieces. And as you can see, this one is already done. So I'm just going to take that out real quick, and I'm going to show you how we deal with that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to build these corners. And so I've taken this one out, and this green, yellow, and white one belongs here. So here we're looking for the green, the yellow, and the black one. And it's right here. So what we do, if it's in the top layer, we put it where it needs to go, like above the position like this, and we turn it once, twice this way, and then we turn it once, twice this way. So 2 times over with this one, and then 2 times back with this one. And what that's going to do is it's going to move out this middle layer so we can put this in here. So we go 1, 2, and then 1, 2. So now we can freely put this in this piece, and we're not going to affect the corner or the edge that we've already put in. So now we can turn this the right side because we're no longer restricted. As you can see, there's the same color on every side. So we're no longer restricted with what we can turn and what we can't. If you wanted to do like an R prime by moving this back, you just could do R3. So what we want to do is try to get this in here using the familiar, just regular beginners algorithms, which is R, U prime, R prime, but you can't, so you have to do R3. And as you can see, it's not correct with this one. So we bring it up, we kick it out. Now we need this one to be back at the bottom. So R3, and then we move this piece back over here, and we do it again. And we have to go like this. And again, it's not quite there yet, so we move it up, kick it out, put this piece back down here, put this piece back over this piece, and do it again. And as you can see, it's done. So now what we can do is just realign this again. And as you can see, we've put in that corner correctly. So now we need the white, the green, and the yellow piece, which is here. And so that's good. If it was, say, over here, we just move it over top of the layer that it needs to go in. And we move it 1, 2 to this side and 1, 2 back. And now we can insert this, but we're no longer trying to match it up with this side. We're trying to match it up with this side. So be careful of that. We go R, U, R prime. And it's not in yet, so we do it again. We bring it up, we kick it to the side, we realign this cross piece, we bring this corner piece back over top of the layer we're trying to put it in, and we do it again. R, U, R prime, which is R3. And again, it's not there, so we have to do it again. So cross piece down there, this one here, and this should do it. Yeah, so here we go, and there it is. Okay, so say you run into this case where you're trying to put in these green, black, and yellow piece, and it's not in the top layer, which means it's got to be in the bottom layer somewhere, and here it is here. So you're wondering how to get this into this position. Well, you have to put it in the top layer. And so what you do is you just go to where it is, and you do R, U, R prime, but you can't, so you have to do R3. And that puts it in the top layer. Now, since it's over top of the slot it needs to be in, you go 2 over and 2 back. And now you can put it in no problem. And that's not how it needs to go. And that's how it needs to go. So with a little bit of practice, you can get these corners in very easily. The hardest part is the edges, so try to spend a lot of time working on these edges. I could go through every case, but that would be a very, very, very long video. And it's just, you're going to have a lot more fun if you try to figure it out on your own. All right, so now that you've done that, we're going to create the blue side F2L. So click anywhere on the page and click on blue side F2L.